my name is Daniela Andrei and I'm a research fellow at the Centre for Safety. Today we have Dr. Ronit Kark with us. Ronit is a senior lecturer at the Ilan University in Israel. Ronit, it's really great to have you here today.
Thanks, Daniela. It's great to be at the University of Western Australia in such a beautiful setting and in such a leading research university. It's an honor.
Thank you, Ronit. In your experience, what are the main challenges for a leader to maintain good safety in today's organizations?
I think today organizations are facing multiple challenges on different fronts. They need to be creative, innovative, leading, work at high speed, be productive, and they also need to maintain safety. And that becomes a real challenge because people tend to think of safety as something that you can have, but not as something that's the major aspect of the organization and what the organization is striving for. Also, managers seem to think of safety as something that's basic, but not as something that's really sexy and really makes them become the leaders they want to be or the leaders they want to view themselves as, which a lot of times makes them focus less on safety. And I think this is really an inaccurate perception of today's complex reality in the sense that employees' well-being and having a safe environment for people to work in is really an important aim of organizations and should be treated this way and should be thought-provoking in many ways and not kept as something that's just a basic requirement that doesn't need to be rethought about.
I cannot agree with you more. Safety is really important and it should be considered more than just a simple tick-off thing. It can drive effectiveness, productivity and also innovation. And I think leadership is really key in all this. So Ronit, in your experience, what kind of leadership is important for safety?
This is a good question. I think leaders of today have to hold on to what we call paradoxical leadership, which means on the one hand that they hold the tension between conformity and on the other hand, they are able to hold on to innovation. When we think about safety, we tend to think about it as norms, regulations, expectations, going by the book. But actually, a lot of times keeping safety is thinking outside of the box and not going according to the book. And that's actually a different maneuver for managers and leaders to play with. And if they can hold on to this tension of, on the other hand, focusing on the regulations, on what is expected, on the by-the-book regulations, but at the same time also stress and challenge people to think out of the box and be innovative with regards to safety, they could keep better safety.
That's a really good point and it's really in line with what we are thinking about safety leadership. Ronit, I know you are researching leadership in a wider context, not only safety related. So we were wondering, in your experience, is safety leadership any different from any other kind of leadership?
So in terms of my extensive research on leadership in different spheres and different types of outcomes, I think this is a challenging question because on the one hand, I think that leadership is leadership. And if people know how to lead other people through role modeling, through making them understand the context that they're working with by making sense of their environment, through inspiring them, through touching their hearts and making them think differently about their surrounding, I think that's something leaders need to do in every context and for every type of outcome. However, I think that keeping safety might be more of a challenge in the sense that if you try to get people to work creatively, then you're mostly working on creativity and you don't have all the time this duality. I think in terms of duality, the challenge is bigger in the sense that leaders have to, on the one hand, hold on to the regulations and to the norms and to be really careful about the way people treat safety, but on the other hand, they want to inspire. And in that sense, that could be more difficult for managers to hold on to this tension in terms of promoting safety.
Now, based on what you know, what advices can you give to organizations? How can organizations support their leaders to be more effective in promoting safety?
Well, I think many organizations are mistaken by thinking that promoting safety among managers is more of a technical thing, and they just have to teach them the ways and the formats in which they can keep safety. But I think keeping safety the way we've found in our research and the way we're working with managers is actually about touching people's inner motivations, their inner identities, the way they understand who they are, what they aspire to, what type of meaning they have in their work, what type of work environment they need to work in. And if leaders think about safety in a more inspirational and charismatic way and understand that it's not enough to just tell the people how they should behave in terms of safety, but really work them through, really touch them from within, and have them understand this as something that encaptures their hopes and their aspirations. It's not just about, having an environment that you go by the book, but it's mostly having an environment in which people can thrive and people feel that they're psychologically and physically safe. And if managers understand this and are able to pull off this complex, paradoxical tension of safety, then I think organizations are bound to succeed better in promoting safety and also in having excellent organizations, which is something that's difficult to excel on different fronts and have safety as well as very other important criteria and aims of the organizations fulfilled.
That was really interesting, Ronit. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today and for sharing your valuable insights and thoughts with us.